Welcome to CathyDSlaught's SRC4u Zoom call for May 18th, 2021. To access Cathy's Zoom call, we're going to come to her website here, scroll down and look for the Zoom banner. Remember this passcode and click here. We will allow because we're on the Zoom platform. Join with computer audio. And we're waiting on Cathy to join the room. She'll be with us momentarily.
10:01, so let's get started to do all that heart stuff. It was like it took forever to break the heart stuff down that way. However, and by the way, then I tested. We're not going to take that in the mastery for 7 days. We're taking it for 85 days. So, wow. It may be that every 90 days we want to do something like that, but I'll do it on my own time. It's too tedious for Zoom. Some interesting things did come out of it that I think we needed to know. And remember, at least as far as I'm concerned, the healer is the healer is the awareness. In my opinion, that's a major component. So I want to show you some of the high points that came out of this. We wanted 21 hours to for the heart meridians, and we want. So let's start here. One of the things about going through that, and it's worth doing every 90 days or so, because we gotta have our ticker working. And a lot of people, it's emotional as much as anything. I hope that waiting room thing people out. Anyway, as I mentioned, in point 4, we just wanted a few minutes. But when I did it, pathogenic chi from the body, we wanted 17 hours. Here was another interesting thing. A lot of aluminum stress came up, but also look at this arsenic stress. We asked 20, all in reference to the heart, 22 hours, and then another chemical, beryllium, 9 hours. So then I tested. I thought, well, with this kind of information in here, it seems a shame just to run a heart cocktail for 7 days in the mastery. And I tested, and we wanted 85 days. And you see, we actually amped up our acceptance of that. Our theme, I put heart, obviously. So we came up with, to start, chronic illness, connective tissue and cartilage, and blood cleansing. And what is interesting, if you noticed, that's what we're working on now. That's our theme with this cocktail in. And so we're still going from all that. But also, here is what we're doing with the mastery at this moment in time. It's pretty hard to see, but we're working on chakras. This is a real thorough. This mastery is a real thorough. For example, it started working on what is that? Our gene intensity, and it started out at a 38 out of 100. It ended up at a 91 out of 100, and so on and so forth. It goes down, gives some of the stress points, gives, for example, with this intensity here, that's okay, using intensity. We didn't go much up on this one. This was in reference to the right eye, performing rituals, slapping it off, abominable, spleen yang, an acupuncture point, several acupuncture points, left leg, desolate, and that didn't improve that much, but this will keep running every day, and you get the idea. I'm not going to go over the whole thing. But what we wanted to do from this point, because there's such a correlation, is the gums, and then also we have the sustenance balancer scan. But let's start with these gum disorders, and I'll send this to Joanne. I've been sending her these as we do, and this encyclopedia, for me anyway, is a big help. But this can flat hurt your feelings when you look at some of the stress that this could be related to. According to the encyclopedia, if the upper gums are swollen or bleeding, etc., that's related to male energy and the father. Lower would be female energy and the mother. And then let's just go ahead and scan this. Because I'm having quite a time with my gums, and that oxygen olive stuff worked a few days, but now they're bleeding a little again. So it's very interesting. And like I said, this can flat hurt your feelings when you look at some of the possible stress. This is another one we'll be working with probably, I don't know, in the next few weeks, this A to Z. So if you have a situation where you just don't know what's wrong, you can scan that A to Z and get some ideas. So as a group, so this would be interesting here, that the stress is actually an emotional stress. It's indecision. And it could even be, I continue to get calls from people undecided on the vaccine. It might be something as simple as that. I'm not. Well, there's our 85-day master. You can see 94% benefit. But for example, in the case of my gums, it could literally be indecision that's setting everything else off. Then we've got insecurity. And you can see that's chronic. And number, we're not getting a lot of power out of this code. We might want to see if the chin is a benefit. Not really.
Cathy, do you have any insight as to why you think people are so still undecisive about the it's not a vaccine, it's the jab. We call it
the jab. That's right.
Yeah.
Well, my own opinion is social conditioning. And in fact, I had a good talk this morning. I have one to clear that insecurity. And she's doing a lot of dating on Match.com. Whatever it is, it may not be Match.com. And she's a beautiful woman, and she's meeting, good men. Except the thing, if she doesn't have the vaccination, they can't date her. And I talked with her last week, and I thought she was going to get it, but I talked with her this morning, and she's not. And she's told him, "Well, tough luck for you."
Right, so, right.
I have another. I don't know what everybody has seen or wants to see, and BSA, and you can watch it if you want to. It's that Gert guy again. He's the one came out some time ago, and he is well credentialed. He's against vaccines, but he is against career. This is for humanity.
Right.
And as he explains, even go into the genetic stuff. He explains the immune system and the vaccine. You saw the post on Saturday. the really big danger is not the vaccine. It's the strong work on the immunity, remembering that we have innate healing to even heal this. We just have to set our mind to it.
Right.
That's what I believe anyway.
Right.
So, all right. So that's a little bit. Now let's go into these Gongs and Shins. So this is feel stuck with a person or situation because I persist in living in the past. No, hard to believe that's related to gums, but let's see. They say you're not really living unless you're living right in the present moment. That must be something we had from last night. Resignation does not seek improvement, so we want to clear that. Feel vulnerable about the limits I have imposed on myself and about my capacity for discovering what is good for me and what isn't. And this is just out of the book. And I figure it does not hurt to clear our field of this kind of stress. And it seemed to represent some stress. Feel resourceless and left to my own devices. And actually, we've been given tools. We may have some special challenges, but we've also been given some special knowledge. Doesn't have to be the SRC. We've got so many tools out there, and we've got skilled people teaching them. Well, that's down a little bit. Resent myself for some of my words. Might be an example again of living in the past. Good. We're pretty clear on that one. Stress related to a decision I should have made a long time ago and keep putting off. This is these words things, though, as I continued to work on that list yesterday, at one point I thought, this is enough to give a person a heart attack. I thought, what kind of words? But there was so much information in there. Passive state of fear. And some of these you can go back and check from time to time, and you'll see that they have a code. But at this point, they did not. The words I speak are on a conscious level, so we'll have to look and see. Emotion emotion cries, you don't go and slap the baby and say, shut up. You comfort the baby, and maybe you need to comfort yourself first. Emotionally estranged from mother. After various lessons. Living long repressed negative emotions. Let's look real quickly, for example, and see what we're looking at emotion-wise at this moment in time. Captivated. Well, that's interesting. What are we captivated by? And in the words to ponder, who got it, did get it, and who left it, did regret it. So, so much for that. I don't know what any of it means, but loss of joy over decisions about which I feel torn and tormented. So it looks like a lot of living in the past. And it probably doesn't hurt any of us to get this kind of energy once in a while, gum stress or not.
Right.
But that's a high one. So that's, I guess, where they're talking in that book, Win the Day, about you're not really living unless you're just living in the present. And we know that, but it's easier said than done. Intense emotional pain about the emotional nourishment that I need and feel I am lacking. Now, what happens with this, as this goes into our etheric field, some may have some revelations, because a lot of times this is just all undermined. We don't give this kind of thing much thought. And the visions and their times. There is no accident. If it happened, there's a reason, and it's interesting to start looking at things that way. Let's see where we are with it. We looked at that. That looks pretty good. We got a quantum group here, and then this was the statement he suggested. I don't know why he always words this, I accept to, but he does. I accept to assert myself and to have, which in turn are linked to decisions. I learn to trust myself in the decisions I make, and I also trust in life that brings me everything I need. I thus become more truly myself in my I look confident about holds over me. let's see how we resonate with it. Pretty good. Look at that. Mm-hmm. And then I thought, for the heck, just real quick, reading gums is a whole separate topic, but it seemed to me I've got about a decision I must make. Just a little different. Loss of joy. Look at that, my goodness. We may have to have a whole this might be relationship. Difficult to be firm in my mind. Feel my freedom is under attack. Feel helpless. Look at that. Focus on that is helpless for my discomfort. As an example of being helpless, I was listening, we had some people go to a school board meeting. And you know, I don't do that. I don't know if any what I was listening to, it was on. But some of the parents stood up and read excerpts of the books that are approved. Did any of you hear that? Oh my gosh. I can't even repeat it. What they were approved reading, how do I want to put that? Just all about sexual acts that were the thing and were expected of girls, and they had to go ahead and do them. I think it might have been a Fox News thing I was listening to as a YouTube, which I seldom do, but I was. And what they tried to do with the guy reading out of this book, first they tried to make him be quiet. They said, your mask is down, put your mask, that kind of thing. And they finally turned his microphone off. Because it had to be highly embarrassing for the members of the school board to have the public hearing the excerpts from these approved books.
Wow.
So maybe there will be a time when some of us can get more involved in what our children are learning.
So did they come to a decision?
Not that I'm aware, because I know that choices made are there to make me to my development. We might have if so, no. Accidents.
Yeah.
So that's yeah, we want to still preserve options. So okay. And then just real quick, our sustenance balancer for today wanted all that water, and I'll do this. You're familiar with it enough. I can do it after, but some of the things we're asking for, your D vitamins rather, in the K2, this any and all dark energy statement, which we'll add. I don't know if anybody takes this maca root, but it comes up quite often. Fearful, black seed oil, scar tissue and brain from trauma. We're asking for some fiber. Divine connectivity. I Ching 46, which it really comes up all the time. It's amazing. You know how we work with image in the etheric field. Dissolve the system. That quick example, I don't know if I mentioned this or not, or if you already saw it, but with the present administration, was explaining the low job numbers. And she said the low job numbers this year. Of course, that is a shame that she had to say that, because Easter was in April. And of course, you can imagine that the fact checkers jumped right on that, right?
Right.
Yeah. Perhaps ingrained that if an authority figure tells us something, where to that, but it seems that way.
Yeah.
Seems like this is for the chakras. His stuff is very powerful. Go through here and just douse them in individually and do that, but you get the idea of what we're asking for. You're doing some good work, but I don't think any of our, we might have one reach. Yeah, oh, we just finished. This was the one, but all the others we finished, that was the one that was so long. So with that in mind, I will see you all tomorrow.
Thank you, Cathy. You have a great day. Wonderful.
Thank you, you guys too.
This concludes the SRC4u Zoom call for May 18th, 2021. Thank you for joining. We look forward to seeing you again. Till then, take care and be well.